What's going on, YouTube gamers? Bonfire here, and this past weekend was the PlayStation Experience. And to kick off the event, Sony held a keynote to talk about what else? Video games. Now, the keynote was good. It wasn't great by any means, but it also wasn't as bad as some people would like to say, at least in my opinion. But I do think there were some really awesome games, some cool announcements at the keynote, and that's what I want to talk to you guys about today. I want to give you guys what I think are the highlights of Sony's keynote at PSX. So the first highlight is what Sony opened it up with, Uncharted 4. They showed off a cutscene with Drake reuniting with his long-lost brother, and the cutscene looked awesome, the graphics looked amazing, the voice acting was spot on, as expected. But in this cutscene, they showed off a brand new feature in Uncharted 4, and that is branching dialogue options. And I don't think anyone saw this coming, and for me, it left me with more questions. Like, how does this work in Uncharted 4? Does it lead to multiple storylines? Does it lead to, multiple endings? What are the repercussions of these decisions that we're making? Just how does it all work in the game? Because Uncharted has typically always been a linear game. So, does this mean it's not? Personally, I don't think so. Only time will tell, but this was something really cool that they showed off, and it's definitely a highlight. Right after Uncharted 4, they moved into another big one. It's probably the most talked about item from the keynote, and that was the Final Fantasy VII Remake. Here we got to see some cutscenes, we got to hear the characters talk, and we also got to see some gameplay and some of the combat system. And first of all, this game looks gorgeous. It is a beautiful looking game, but the biggest highlight and the takeaway from what they showed at the keynote was the combat. Because we got to see some combat and gameplay in action, and that's where the biggest changes come in, because the original Final Fantasy VII was a turn-based combat system, and this, from what they showed, looks to be a real-time combat system. Now, for me, I'm okay with this change, at least at this point, because it brings something new and fresh to Final Fantasy VII. I've played the original, I have the original, I love the original, but this gives me more of an incentive to try out this new thing within Final Fantasy VII and the remake, and it makes it a true remake. Now, the bulk of Sony's keynote at PSX was spent on talking about indie games and announcing a lot of indie games that are coming to PlayStation 4. And I just want to take a moment to acknowledge that and say how awesome that is, because the PlayStation 4 truly has so many games. And I feel like that anyone who says the PlayStation 4 doesn't have games, you got to be crazy, because there's a lot of games to choose from. Now, out of all those games that they announced and talked about during the keynote, there's one that stood out to me, and that's the next highlight. And this is a game by Adult Swim Games, which I didn't know they were making console games, so kudos to them, but that game is Death's Gambit. Now, this game has that pixely artwork. I think it looks awesome. It looks beautiful, well done, and it has that Dark Souls vibe to it. It looks like a 2D side-scrolling Dark Souls game. To me, that's awesome. It's a genre I've really been getting into lately, and this game is now on my radar. I want this game. I want to know more about it. I want to play it, and you should too. Another highlight was they showed off a game called Neo, and this is a game from the developers who made Ninja Gaiden, and this game looks Dark Souls-esque, but with ninjas. And it just looks awesome. I mean, you're in like a samurai ninja type environment. You got a samurai sword. You're taking down giant dark beasts, taking down ninjas, and this game just looks so badass. It has a very dark, again, it has that Dark Souls feel to it, and I want this game. I need it. I can't wait to learn more about this game and eventually play it when it comes out. Keep this game on your radar. This is a good one. Another big highlight for me was that they showed off more of the Ratchet and Clank game. And this is the game that's based on the movie that's based on the game. I know that's a lot to take in, but it's kind of an original or reboot, if you will, of the original Ratchet and Clank game. That's also going to be a movie, and they showed off some cutscenes and they showed off some gameplay. And first of all, this game just looks gorgeous. I mean, it looks like you're watching an animated movie. It's amazing. Now, I never really got into the older Ratchet and Clank games. I dabbled in them a little bit. I've played here and there. But this game just looks awesome. It looks fun, and I love the concept of it. I don't know, there's just something about this game that stands out to me, and I just want to play it. I cannot wait for this game to come out. I think it comes out, we got a release date of April 12th, I believe it is, and it's on my radar. I want to play it. I will probably definitely be streaming it, and it just looks like fun. I just want to play it. Now, the last major highlight for me, and I'm being absolutely serious when I say this, was when they showed off the VR game for PlayStation VR, 100-Foot Robot Golf. And when they announced this game, I couldn't help but just burst out laughing because they kind of set a serious tone. It was all kind of getting in serious mode, and then they move on to this game that's ridiculous. The concept is hilarious. You're giant robots playing golf in a city. I mean, you're taller than buildings, and the golf course is the city. And I don't know, I just love the concept, and I think cartoony golf games like this are just a blast to play. Like I love Mario Golf. I love Hot Shots Golf, which there's a reboot coming to PS4, and I can't wait to play it. And I love it. I love it. I really want to play it. And I think it's hilarious. It's a game that doesn't take itself too seriously, and I always appreciate that. And there you guys have it. Those were my highlights and biggest takeaways from Sony's keynote at PSX this past weekend. I do want to take a moment and point one thing out and say the reason why this conference wasn't great was because Sony didn't announce and come out with any first-party games. It was all from third-party developers, and that to me is a little weird. A little troubling, a little concerning, but there you have it. So let me know what you guys think about my highlights, and I'd love to hear what your highlights, what games are you excited for from PSX, down in the comments below. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and until next time, I'm Bonfire, and I will see you online. Hey guys, don't forget about Facebook, Twitch, and Twitter, and hit that button down below.